Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Erkin, and I am an IOE PhD candidate. I'm also in a dual degree program with the medical school. So I'm in what's known as the Medical Scientist Training Program, where I've actually done 3 years of medical school. I'm currently doing my PhD as an IOE PhD candidate, and then I'll return to the medical school with about a year left of my medical training, and then graduate with an MD and then a PhD from the University of Michigan. Prior to coming here, did my undergrad at the University of Wisconsin. I worked for a while, then got my master's from the University of Wisconsin as well, and then worked as well a little bit longer, and then ended up coming here. During those intervening years, I worked in healthcare IT, developing software for hospitals, namely electronic health records, and then also working as a healthcare data scientist. So then I came here. I did start doing med school, and I started doing research. I am co-advised by Dr. Brian Denton, and then I'm also co-advised by Dr. Jenna Wiens in computer science. And my focus is on the intersection of machine learning and medicine. And you can sort of see this depicted as the Venn diagram on the slide, where I like to think about you have a patient, you have a physician, and then you have a prediction being produced by some type of model. And bringing these three all together sort of fulfills the aims or goals of what's called precision health. And thinking about how we can best build models to serve the needs of patients and physicians is sort of top of mind and a driving goal of my research. Now, you can think about predictions coming in a manner of different ways. They can come from, a very simple clinical decision rule, or they could come from a complex deep learned model. Either, any one of these instantiations or anything in between, these models are going to need to be updated over time because the healthcare system changes, the way that we treat diseases changes, our understanding of diseases and our understanding of treatments also change, and the way that hospitals work change over time. So all these changes mean that the model that we build today might not work very well, 5 years down the line. So we'd like to figure out ways to update the models in order to work well in the future. And, we'd like to maintain good predictive performance. But this predictive performance, if we were to update a model all of a sudden, we might have good predictive performance, but we might end up surprising physicians or patients, and they might have expected the model to behave in certain ways when it no longer does that. And this might be, familiar to people that have shown up and seen a Windows update or various other software update, and all of a sudden things have moved around and it becomes surprising, and you don't know if you can necessarily trust the system. And this is critical for applications like healthcare, where the decision making that uses a prediction is critical, right? It may be life or death to understand why a prediction is coming in a certain way. So that's my main focus. I've done a bunch of work looking at evaluating existing models, understanding what happens when you take a model that was developed, usually retrospectively with large data sets that were collected over time, and then you go and try to use that prospectively and hook it up to operational software. And you may see that there's discrepancies, and understanding where those discrepancies are coming from is very useful as we go to do more and more of this in the future. So that's a little bit about my research. Now I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a spiel about Michigan. Michigan is a phenomenal place. These are all pictures that I've taken throughout my time here at Michigan. On the leftmost side of the screen, you see a picture that I took in the Upper Peninsula, which is pretty much as far north as you can go before you end up having to take a boat. You have to take a bridge to get up there, but it is a phenomenal place. Lots of great hiking. You can go swimming. It's a little cold sometimes, and then really great just nature. So this is, you can see some beaches there. This is just, half a mile hike away from some, 200, 300 foot bluffs that we had been on previously. On the center top is a picture that I took right before a Michigan football game. This is right outside the big house. Phenomenal experience. And then below that is a picture I took at the Detroit Institute of Art. Has one of the probably greatest collections of art in the United States. And this specific picture is a picture from of a mural by Diego Rivera that sort of depicts the history of Detroit. And it's just a amazing work of art that fills a huge courtyard. And then to the right is a picture of a disassembled Model T that I took at the Henry Ford Museum of American Innovation, which is in Dearborn, about 40 minutes outside of Ann Arbor. So wonderful places around Ann Arbor. Ann Arbor itself is wonderful. The University of Michigan is phenomenal. So I just want to end by saying, go blue.